You freeze. Before the spear strikes, you die before the cold kills you. Not from frostbite, but from what comes before it. The silence, the breath that freezes before leaving your mouth, the endless white swallowing sound itself. You think surviving one day in Yakutia at minus 71 degrees means braving the cold? It doesn't. It begins the moment you wake. Your bed is made of reindeer hides layered over ice, warmed only by the memory of fire. Dawn doesn't break. It glows faintly, like a dying ember behind clouds of frost. You crawl out wrapped in fur sewn by hands older than your language. There is no running water, only snow melted in a pot blackened by smoke. Your breakfast is dried fish and frozen marrow cracked open with a stone. The cold eats sound, so every movement becomes sacred. The crunch of boots, the hiss of breath, the creak of old leather stiff as bone. The elders wait outside, faces carved from wind and memory. Their eyes narrow at the sky, reading what you can't. The dance of wind and smoke, the faint trail of hooves beneath the snow. The hunt begins with a whisper, not a shout. No guns, no engines, only sleds pulled by small, tireless horses. The reins cut your palms as you steer through the tundra, the horizon bending into a white void. Frost climbs your eyelashes like tiny daggers. You can't speak. Your words would freeze mid-air and shatter. Tracks appear like shadows pressed into the ice, massive, wide as your hand. The elders nod. "Bull," one mutters, voice cracking like firewood. The largest they've ever seen, a ghost of the Ice Age walking still. You dismount and tighten your fur belt. Every step sinks into powder up to your knees. The reindeer move ahead, a dark ripple against the glare. You circle downwind. Tradition forbids chasing. Only patience wins here. You kneel, motionless, as the animal lowers its antlers to feed. Its breath clouds the air, steam rising like incense. You feel your pulse in your fingertips as you draw the old spear, carved bone, bound in sinew, passed through generations. Its tip is blackened by soot to prevent glare. The elders say reindeer sense hesitation, so you breathe once, twice, and move when your breath matches the wind. The strike is quick, silent. Blood blooms dark against the snow like spilled ink. The beast stumbles, its antlers cutting the air one last time before collapsing. No cheering, only stillness. You place your hand on its flank and whisper thanks in a tongue older than writing. Here, killing is not conquest. It is communion. Knives flash. The meat is carved with reverence, each cut a prayer. Nothing is wasted. Tendons become bowstrings. Hide becomes clothing. Antlers become tools. Even the bones are split to sip the warmth hidden inside. The hunters pack sleds until they groan, bound for the village. By the time you return, the sky is an ocean of green light. The aurora sways above as if honoring the fallen giant. The village gathers, children with frostbitten cheeks, women stirring pots over open flames. The meat sizzles in cast iron pans. Fat crackles. The smell floods the square, and for one night, hunger is forgotten. Songs rise with the smoke, low, guttural hymns that tell of ancestors and spirits. Elders pass cups of fermented milk. The fire pops, casting gold on faces that have outlasted centuries of storms. You taste the meat, dense, sweet, rich with life. Around you, laughter echoes across the tundra, defying the cold. This feast is more than survival. It is memory made flesh. The great reindeer feeds them all, not just with food, but with story, with proof that even here, at the edge of the world, life can still triumph against the endless white. And when the flames die and the sky turns black again, you realize, tomorrow, you'll wake before dawn, wrap yourself in fur, and step into the silence once more. Because in Yakutia, the hunt never ends, it simply waits. There is no middle ground between feast and famine. The hunt ends suddenly. One moment, the air trembles with shouts, the rush of hooves, the crack of spears. The next, there is only breath, heavy, ragged, misting in the freezing dawn. Everything changes once the silence returns. The tundra swallows the echoes, leaving behind only the fallen giant and the hunters who stand over it. The field of snow becomes a place of work. The elders move first. Knives of bone and steel flash under pale light. Steam rises from the warm body, a ghost drifting skyward. Every piece has purpose, nothing left behind. In Yakutia, waste is betrayal. The meat is carved with precision. Fat is stored in leather sacks. The hide is peeled whole, salted, folded like sacred cloth. Even the sinew is rolled carefully for sewing and binding. The hunters learned long ago that survival depends on memory, not tools, not luck. Memory of how to use everything the land gives. The cold helps them. At -71 degrees Celsius, the world itself becomes a freezer. No flies, no rot, no smell. The earth locks the bounty in crystal silence. Still, the hunters hurry. The sun never rises high, and night comes fast, a blue wave swallowing the horizon. Sleds groan under the weight of meat and hide. Ropes creak, wood snaps, and frost bites through gloves. Horses stamp impatiently, their nostrils flaring steam. The village waits beyond the ridge, smoke curling from chimneys like black thread against white sky. When the hunters arrive, the people emerge, children running barefoot through snow, elders blessing the air with murmured prayers. The body of the reindeer is greeted not as a trophy, but as a guest. Songs rise low and slow, older than language, carrying gratitude across the ice. The cleaning begins before the feast. The tools are washed in snow, blades wiped clean with bark and ash. Hands are rubbed with melted fat to keep skin from cracking. The hunters gather in a circle, each recounting their part in the chase, not boasting, but remembering. The story itself becomes another offering. The fire is lit high, logs crackling, sparks rising like stars. Women render the fat into oil for lamps. Tendons are stripped, dried, and coiled. Antlers are split for carving tools. Children help stack the meat in snow pits, layer upon layer, sealed tight for the months ahead. The dogs circle, eyes bright, tails flicking, waiting for scraps. They too have earned their share. Companions in the cold, not pets but partners. No part is ignored. The heart is boiled first, the warmest meat for the elders and the hunters who cast the spear. They eat in silence, heads bowed. The broth steams, carrying the scent of iron and smoke. Outside, the wind howls, shaking the walls like a warning. Inside, the flames dance across faces painted by years of winter. When the feast ends, the cleanup begins. Bones are buried deep in the snow. Gifts return to the spirits beneath the ice. The hunters scrape their tools, sharpen blades, patch torn furs. Tomorrow may bring another storm, another hunger. Preparation never sleeps here. The world doesn't forgive mistakes. Fires die down, leaving embers glowing like eyes in the dark. The children fall asleep by the hearth, their breath mingling with the smoke. The elders record the story, not in ink, but in memory, in song, in words that echo across generations. Somewhere beyond the river, wolves begin to sing, a chorus that honors the fallen, that promises balance. The hunters lie down on their hides, the cold seeping through, familiar as blood. They know the hunt will come again. The tundra keeps no trophies, only lessons. Morning will bring the same silence, the same white horizon, the same hunger. And when the trail appears again, they will rise, not for glory, but for life.